Let's all take a comfortable position. Sit in either Vajrasana or easy, comfortable position. Close your eyes. And let's begin today's session with opening chants. And today, just follow with me. Let's begin with Asato Ma Satkamaya. Om Asato Ma Tamaso Ma Mrutyo Sangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We wish to take our journey from untruth to the truth. We always strive to progress from darkness to light. We always progress from death to immortality. And let there be peace everywhere. And let's begin the prayer for today's session of instruction. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Together, we all seek blessings to be nourished by the divine. Together, we seek blessings to give our 100% in our journey of learning and sharing. Together, we seek blessings and make commitment that there is no competition between us. That there be peace everywhere. And then let's also make a final salutations to Maharshi Patanjali. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Shariram Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranara Anatosmi. We make our salutations and prostrations to Sage Maharshi Patanjali, who gave us the yoga system to restrain and calm our mind, and who gave us the grammar for our Sanskrit and for our language, and who also gave us the knowledge of Ayurveda for our overall well-being. To that sage Patanjali, we offer our gratitude and salutations. With these wonderful intentions, welcome everybody for the day 2 of our Yoga Foundations camp. Before I begin, are there any comments or feedback or any insights from yesterday from anyone?
It's good. So raring to go.
Okay, good. So what I did was I shared some of the links with you with some of the sessions that we've learned. Today's focus is going to be on, I'm going to start with some Yoga Sutra knowledge on Ashtavangani, the 8 limbs yoga system. And this is perhaps the most profound the yoga revolutions that one could benefit from. And then what we'll also do is we'll also again repeat our daily routine. And then today we're going to introduce the Sun Vinyasa flow or Sun Salutations Vinyasa flow. So there are some variations in Sun Salutations with some of the warrior poses that we could all benefit from. And then we're going to finish our entire routine. And then towards the end, we will have some knowledge about meditation. What is dhyana? I think that is probably one of the most important things, and that will also integrate very well into the Ashtavangani, the 8 limbs of yoga system that we talk about. And then towards the end, I'll have a guest, one of my friends who will also, my childhood friends, just like Raju, Shailesh Visani. He's also very deeply into yoga system. He'll probably join towards the end of the last 15 minutes, where he will share some of his own insights on the yoga system that we take with us. And then I'm also super excited tomorrow towards the end around 8 p.m. Central Time. We'll also have Sriram Sarvottamji to share some of his insights. I think all of you would benefit from hearing directly from Sriramji and Ekaji to share his wisdom. And I strongly encourage for you to follow Sriramji wherever it's possible and Ekashri Schools of Yoga. But I think these are the two guest teachers, and Sriramji is somebody who is, like I said, he represents yoga excellence and unity, and somebody is the most divine soul that I've ever met. So with that, let's do a quick recap. What we learned yesterday was yoga is nothing but it's a self-discipline. It's an anushasana that we ascribe to ourselves, that it's a self-discipline that guarantees the permanent and more eternal joy. And then yoga is not just about the postures, but yoga is all about chitta vritti nirodha. It's about restraining our turbulent mind with random thoughts. And then the way once we restrain our mind, then our true nature, which is the divinity within, that gets realized within. That is Tadadristu Swarupya Avasthanam. And then the two keys on how we're going to get there is Abhyasa Vairagyam, the regular practice, and then maintaining a dispassionate and yet exuberant way of expression in life. I think those are the two things that actually help us realize our true divinity. And then we talked about asanas, Sthira Sukha asana, something that is very comfortable and stable is a good posture, and the pranayama. And then with the asanas practice, we reduce the conflicts between our tongue and the rest of the body, and any conflicts within our mind. And then with pranayama is this controlled breathing, swasa praswayo gati vichchedaha pranayama. With the controlled and restricted breathing, the deep breathing is what pranayama. And one of the benefits of pranayama is the wheel that we have, the smoke that is covering our divine, the presence, that will be gradually reduced and removed. And that's when the true light will be shined forth. And then the other aspect of the pranayama is it also improves the concentration. It is one of the techniques for dharana. So what I'm going to do today is move into the theory for Ashtavangani. So Patanjali, when he introduced the yoga system, he first diagnosed for what are the reasons why people encounter miseries in life. So Patanjali there are 5 kleshas, or the klesha mula. There are 5 roots with the reasons for why we get into lots of miseries in life. Way he says is avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha, klesha. So avidya, which is the wrong knowledge, wrong perception, and asmita, the sense of I-ness. It's always about me and myself and my people and mine, that asmita. And then raga, the deep desires, dvesha, the hatred, and abhinivesha is the insecurities about, whether it's insecurity about, the death, or insecurity about losing something. These are the 5 reasons that we often all the miseries are coming. And the first thing is about the avidya. What is the avidya? What we talked about yesterday is it's about having a wrong identification about ourselves. Oftentimes we always identify ourselves with this physical being. I'm Srini Gurapu, I own this body and I own this mind, and we're always trying to make this costume better. And we try to accumulate, some possessions, buying cars, buying houses, and accumulating things. And that's always the reason for misery, because you cannot hold on to this costume. This costume, someday we all have to rid of it. And the real vidya is, according to Sankhya, is we are nothing but we are nitya, suchi, sukha, atma. The vidya is realizing that we associate ourselves like anitya. That means we are finite, we are impermanent. And in a suchi, asuchi, it's just like we always engage the impurities. So the right vidya, the perception that yoga helps us achieve is connecting with our true identity, which is Nitya, Suchi, Sukha, Atma, that we are nothing but we are not bound by time, this time dimension. We are eternal. There is no beginning, there is no end to us, for all of us. That's Nitya. Suchi, that we don't actually accumulate any impurities. The impurities that you accumulate are only through this body and the mind, but not for the true identity, the divine that we are. And Sukha, the pleasure and the pain that we go through, these oscillations, is only for this costume, but not for the real the identity, the true identity that we have. And then we are nothing but we are indivisible, both within and across of us. We are all one, and that's also what Shankara's Vedanta also says. We are nothing but the one infinite Brahman. And then there is this fantastic story, actually. Vedavyasa used to say that apparently at the beginning of some game, some point in some dimension, apparently we're all nothing but we are all Ishvara. We're all the divine, the same one divine. And then we all choose to play a game of hide and seek. So what we've done is, in the hide and seek, what we do is we get ourselves blindfolded and then we try to look for somebody. Apparently, all of us in this costume, we intentionally blindfolded ourselves to our true vision, to our true identity. And then we got this, goggles, like in our eyes and the mind. And then we started to play a game. So we intentionally wanted to play this game and we entered this life. Apparently, the Ishvara is the only one who basically said, no, I don't want to play. You guys go play. So we're all having fun. We all wanted to play this game intentionally, like the kids. We came in with this body and then with this goggles of the eyes and the costume of the mind and the body. And we are intentionally playing this game of snakes and ladders of this life. And then the Ishvara, the divine said, no, I'm not going to join you guys. I'm going to guard all of you. So with the yoga system, all we're going to do is we're going to get rid of the goggles, we're going to get rid of the costume, and then we basically reunite with our true identity. And we all intentionally came in to have fun. And then in the fun, we basically go through all these oscillations, like the stock market, elections, red, blue, white, and all this drama, but it's all the game. So what Patanjali said is, Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. With the yoga, I now have the recipe, which is, and in fact, there is another sutra that it basically says, the people who are stuck in these miseries, how can you find out? It basically says like, Dukkha Daurmanasya Swasha Praswaso are the symptoms. People who get caught up in this avidya, asmita. Asmita is always we are trying to prioritize for our own immediate family, either for ourselves or for our own close circle. And that is asmita. One of the biggest ways to keep your mind calm is letting go of this I-ness, me, my family. The moment when there is no division, everything that you become is divine, because you're no longer trying to optimize for yourself or your own associations. Raga, which is like having deep attachments for things or people, and then the hatred. So what he says is people that are stuck in with this, they will be, you can see them in a dukkham, daurmanasya. Daurmanasya is a persistent dukkha, which is almost like a depression. And then dukkha daurmanasya, shwasa praswasya, we can also see them that they will have irregular breathing. So these are some of the symptoms of the people that are stuck in this kleshas. And then Patanjali said, okay, now I can take care of this. Here is the system. Heyam Dukkham Anagatam. So let's now look at what is this. So what Patanjali has done is in the Yoga Sutras are divided into 4 chapters, the pathas. The first one is Samadhipada. Second one, Samadhipada, is all the knowledge about our true identity and how we can achieve our true identity. And then the second one is the sadhana pada, where he gives all the techniques on what are the different practices that we can do. And then the third one is vibhuti pada, where he describes some of the powers that we can get through yoga practice. And then the last one is kaivalya pada, where he describes all the different stages of enlightenment and the freedom and the liberation that we can achieve. And then one of the great things about Yoga Sutra knowledge is he described there are 3 methods, 3 types of yoga systems that we can actually practice. The first one is Kriya Yoga. Kriya means, just like in Bhagavad Gita where there is a Karma Yoga, it is an action oriented. And the Kriya Yoga is, all the things that we do, like asanas and the pranayamas. And there is a sutra that basically says tapas, intense effort, swadhyaya, coupled with self-study and making sure that we are constantly evaluating ourselves and then surrendering the outcomes. Just like in the Bhagavad Gita Karma Yoga, Ishvara Pranidhanami. These three together are defined as the Kriya Yoga. But the Kriya Yoga is essentially a path of action where we put effort to do this. What Patanjali said is, with Kriya Yoga, we can reduce the miseries that come from the kleshas, but we cannot completely eliminate them. And then he designed two other systems. One is the path of Ashtavangani. Ashtavangani, this is the 8-limb practice, is something that is going to completely eliminate the miseries. And then the other one is the path of meditation or the Antaranga Sadhana, where it's about dharana, samadhi, where it's less about action, but you let meditation happen, which we're going to talk about in the next one. One of the sutras that basically Patanjali says is Yoganga Anusthanat, the 8-limbed yoga practice. When somebody practices this, Anushthanat, just like Anushasana, Anushthanat, when somebody ascribes it to themselves, Ashuddhi Kshaye, Ashuddhi means impurities. All these impurities will be removed. Ashuddhi Kshaye, Jnana Deeptihi, the right knowledge of the Jnana will be revealed. They will realize the true knowledge. And then Aviveka Khyatyehe. So Aviveka is Aviveka is the wrong knowledge, like an avidya. Viveka or Aviveka, which is the complete knowledge about who we are, the Nitya Suchisuka Atma, the 8-limb yoga practice is going to reveal. And what are those 8 limbs? So in the next sutra, Patanjali is like, just the sutra format, right? He doesn't even use the verbs. He just uses the right words to actually speak the saravat, the essence of the knowledge. And the first one is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhayo, Ashtavangani. And what it means is, the first one is yamas. Yamas are the things, the way we conduct towards others. These are the universal values, human values, that how we need to conduct towards others. That's the first limb of yoga. And then the second limb of yoga is niyamas. So niyamas are the universal vows that in how you conduct yourself. Yama niyama, or these are more of a universal human values on how we should conduct ourselves towards others, and then how we should conduct ourselves internally. Asana, which we talked about yesterday, which is the postures. Pranayama is the breath control. And then pratyahara. Pratyahara is reversing the consumption. I wrote a blog recently. There are things like ahara, pratyahara, pratyahara. Ahara is the right consumption, what we need to consume, not just the food, but also the thoughts and the things that we consume through our sensories. That is the ahara. Atyahara is indulgence. We overconsume, right? And then pratyahara is about reversing the process of consumption. The pratyahara is another limb. And then dharana. Dharana is the concentration. Dhyana is meditation. And samadhi is actually getting immersed, where you completely lose the sense of I and you become the other, which is the path of samadhi. You immerse with the divine or your pursuit of object. And then these are the 8 limbs that Patanjali defined as the holistic yoga system. The other interesting thing is, Patanjali did not define this as the 8 stages. He explicitly defined these as limbs. By limbs, what we mean is, like, for example, if you take our body, we have all the limbs, and the limbs synchronously grow together. It's not like, when we were born as a baby, the first 10 years we grew our legs, and then, we grew our tummy, and then we grew our legs, and then, later on we did the head, right? We did not grow like that. everything synchronously grew together. So what Patanjali said is, this 8 limbs of yoga, we have to continuously practice. And yesterday we talked about, how much time do you practice in the yoga? And the thing is, we often equate the yoga practice to what we do on the mat, like the postures. But the holistic yoga system is something that is like the real cosmic body that we have. And this is something that we practice all the time. And this is how we can be a 24/7 yogis. And I can bet that many of you are already there. And let's reveal what do we mean by that. Any questions so far? Does this make sense? The Ashtanga yoga or the Yoganga Anushtana?
Yeah, I think so. So what it means is it's not phases. It's everything is together. But I was just wondering, can we actually progress slowly by adding more limbs? Because I'm not sure whether we can get to all those stages at once.
No, I think let's look at what those stages, and then we'll see. And then perhaps, because we did not have this right knowledge of the yoga system, maybe our hands, our legs are probably a little bit taller than our hands and other stuff, but we can actually get back into synchronous, right? And that's what it is. So the first is, the thing that I'm really excited about is the yamas. I think this is probably the highest order of need for the world. What yamas is how we should conduct ourselves towards others. What Patanjali defined is there is about 5 universal vows, which is ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, aparigraha, yamaha. Ahimsa, we all know what that means, which is non-violence, right? And satya is being truthful. And asteya, being not about practicing non-stealing. And then brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is something that we often get confused. What is brahmacharya? Brahmacharya, the real definition is brahme charati saha brahmacharyaha. That means the path towards Brahman, the highest knowledge, the highest being. It is when we are making progress towards that, it is brahmacharya. Oftentimes, we only have one definition, which is, and that means we're always engaged in the thoughts of the higher being or the highest wisdom, which is the Brahman. Brahma is Mahan. And when the more time that you're spending in the realization of the Brahman, that is what brahmacharya is. And then sometimes we also equate that to celibacy, or equate that to the lust. And the reason why we kind of this is like when we engage in that, we are being low-mindedness, or we are engaging in more common-mindedness. But the real thing is about contemplation of the Brahman, which is always in the pursuit of the highest knowledge, is known as brahmacharya. And aparigraha is not maintaining this greed, this tendency to accumulate stuff. I need to buy more cars and I need to buy more land. Those are the things of aparigraha, right? And then the thing that we basically said is ahimsa. I think we all know ahimsa, which is the non-violence. And then we talk about some of the powers that we get. And what Patanjali was also defined is these universal vows are jati desha kala samayana vichinna sarvabhauma mahavratam. What this means is these universal vows apply to every section of the people, every group of people, jati, desha, every place, every region, kala, they do not apply to any time. Jati, desha, kala, samayana vichinna, which is like these are universal vows that transcend gender, race, time, location, region. These are the universal vows that can be practiced. These are sarvabhauma mahavratam. These are the vows that we have to take it upon ourselves. And the second aspect of it is the niyamas. Niyamas are how do we conduct towards ourselves, which is saucha, santosha, tapaswadhyaya, ishvara pranidhanani is niyamah. Saucha is maintaining cleanliness, always maintaining the right hygiene. is the number one vow that we need to maintain in ourselves. Like, just imagine, right? You want to go do yoga practice without cleaning up yourself. It doesn't really result in the true, the divine. In fact, what people used to say is the yoga process that we do, or the yoga practice that we do, is nothing but Shiva Puja. So Shiva Puja, it is like the prayer to the Lord Shiva, who is considered as the Adi Yogi. So, and when we maintain that yoga is a 24/7 as a way of life, we always want to start with Shaucha. And Santosha. Santosha is our entitlement. Being content and being always happy is not only our entitlement, but it's our responsibility. Every citizen on the planet is entitled to that. Saucha Santosha. Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara. This is what is the Kriya Yoga. Tapas is intense heat, where whatever we are doing, we are giving our 100% effort. Tapas. Swadhyaya. But at the same time, we have to, Swadhyaya is self-study. That self-study is an interesting word. That means we are studying about self, which is our true identity, Nitya Sucha Sukha Atma, that is the self, or which is the Atman or the Brahman. Or the second time is the studying about the self, or the equipment, the tools that we have in the realization of the self, like this body and the mind. Always studying where we are with respect to our body and the mind. That's also Swadhyaya. And then recalibrating it so that we are on the right path of self-realization. That is Swadhyaya. Like, for example, even when we are doing asanas, sometimes if you don't have the awareness of where the body is, you might injure yourself. So that's also Swadhyaya. Don't overheat the system. Heat the system, but don't overheat the system. So that is Swadhyaya. And then Ishvara Pranidhana. Don't ever be entitled to the outcomes. Like, hey, I've been practicing yoga for 10 years. I haven't still mastered my Nataraja pose. You don't have any control over outcomes. And this is also what Bhagavad Gita also says in the Karma Yoga. Saucha Santosha Tapaswadhyayana Ishvara Pranidhana. Right? And then one of the biggest sutras is, now let's actually talk about some of the benefits of practicing these verbs. Let's start with ahimsa. What Patanjali described is yamas and niyamas. In fact, he put them as the number 2 limbs. And the way I equate them is, these are the 2 legs. Yama is your right leg, and then niyama is your left leg. This is the foundation on which we have to build the entire yoga practice. How do we conduct towards others? And then how do we conduct towards ourselves? But sometimes, because we are all blindfolded and with the goggles of the eyes and we play the game, right? We always look for profit. But Patanjali, if I practice these verbs, what do you give it for me? We always exchange this bartendering, right? Then Patanjali said, okay, I'll bless you with some powers. So the powers that Patanjali reveal, like the superpowers, the siddhis. The first one is ahimsa pratisthaya. Ahimsa pratisthaya tatsannidho vairatyagaha. So the people that are established in non-violence, people that practice non-violence. Practicing non-violence is not just about physical action. It's called the Trikarana Shuddhi. Trikarana Shuddhi is in manas, vacha, and karmana. In your thoughts, in your words, and then in your actions. That is the holistic non-violence. When you practice non-violence consistently, what you get the power is, eventually the people around you will also give up violence. And we have seen this, right? We have seen this with Mandela. We have seen this with Mahatma Gandhi. We've seen this with Buddha. We have seen this with Martin Luther King. All these people who are firmly established in non-violence, they were able to influence so many people to give up violence. So this is one of the vows that we can practice in Manasa, Vacha, Karma. In fact, there is this beautiful story about Buddha, about this biggest monster that used to be Anguli Malika, who is like, Anguli is the fingers. His USP, the secret recipe is, he used to chop people's fingers. And everybody used to be so petrified of him. And then he went to Buddha. Buddha was like, so cool and calm. It was like, hey, what can I do for you? And it's like, do you know who I am? I'm Anglu Malika. Just like I'm known for chopping people's thing. I'm going to chop your fingers. Buddha was smiling. And it's like, what can I do for you? And then that Angli Malika was completely shaken. He had never seen such a calming energy in front of him. Was not shaken by him, but instead he was shaken. And that's when he immediately prostrated to him. He became one of the greatest disciples of Buddha. And I have a small funny story. By no means I'm anything. So, but there was this funny story. When I travel around the world, I used to have this habit of practicing yoga outside. In the mornings, I go and I choose a landmark and practice yoga. I practiced close to the Chain Bridge in Budapest. And one time I was in Paris, and I want to practice yoga. This was, I think, 2011. And I want to practice yoga by the nice gardens outside of Eiffel Tower. So in the morning, I went in and I even wanted to record that practice actually as one of my personal memories. And then I did my entire routine. And then finally, I lied down on Shavasana, nicely resting. And then I heard some commotion. And then what I saw was there were like 10 cops pointing their guns towards me. And I was like lying down, and then cops were pointing guns towards me. And then I was like, And they thought that I was doing some kind of I don't know what they were thinking. And then all I did was, I did not, get shaken. I was just smiling. I was just like, Namaste, I'm just doing yoga. And then they all said Namaste and prayed, and then they just left. So there was just a movement of, thing between some bullets and, some of the stuff. But the key thing is, ahimsa is one of the greatest powers that we can all benefit from to create the positive impact in the world. Any questions? About ahimsa, do we all believe that Patanjali is correct in the superpower of ahimsa?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah. And then the second one is again a very, very important one, which is people that establish in satya, the truth. Satya pratisthayam kriya phalashrayatvam. What it means is people that are established in truth, and again Trikana Shuddhi, manas, vacha, and karmana, which is then whatever they wish actually comes true. This is one of the greatest powers of being truthful in our thoughts and in our actions, in our words. And so that is one of the greatest powers. When I interpreted this, then I realized that this is one of the greatest responsibilities that we have. A lot of people, we all want to practice being truthful. But because when you're truthful, whatever you wish becomes true, that means we only have to think about the positive stuff. If you think about negative, it's going to come true. So this is one of the greatest powers, but at the same time, the responsibilities, particularly with our kids and the kids who are, very innocent, they're always truthful. But along with the same time, we have to teach them think about power of positive thinking. Always, if they think that, no, I cannot do this, I don't know what's going to happen to me. We always have to train them to only look at the positive side. It's also called the prosperity mindset. Because otherwise what will happen, which is if they suddenly think like, I don't know if I'm going to pass this grade, perhaps that might come true. So that's the second superpower. So it's the biggest responsibility of being truthful. And then the third one is brahmacharya pratisthayam virya labdhihi. When we engage in this contemplation of the brahmacharya, you actually get the right power, the virya labdhihi. You will get the valor and the energy to go accomplish higher order things. It is brahmacharya pratisthayam virya labdhihi. Asteya pratisthayam sarva ratno upasthanam. So people that do not engage in stealing, and this stealing is not just about the things, stealing of ideas, stealing of any one of them, whether again manasa, vacha, karmana. When you steal something from somebody, what is like eventually you end up losing stuff. But people who are established in non-stealing, whatever they need, the Sarva Ratna Upasthanam, all the wealth in the world that you needed, from the knowledge to the things that you need, they automatically come to you. You no longer have to go and seek them, they will come to you. Sarva Ratna Upasthanam. And the thing is, why do we steal? When the people feel the lack. It's like, I don't have something. And then, you try to grab from others. But when you are always in the content of, when you are always have the sense of fullness, then what more you need, you actually get overflown with all the things that you need, the knowledge and the things and the relationships that you need, they always, come to you. It's the Asteya Pratisthana. And then the last one is Aparigraha Sthairi Janma Katanta Sambodaha. Janma Katanta Sambodaha. People that do not crave to accumulate stuff. I need to buy more things. I need to have more stuff. When you start reversing from that, what happens is we actually get the right things that you need to be accumulated, which is like our knowledge about in our previous lives or the future lives and our path to being united with the infinite. That knowledge will automatically will be accumulated in you. Right? So that is aparigraham sthairi janma kadanta sambodaha. So these are the 5 yamas that we have, that we all need to practice in our daily life. I can bet that almost all of you are already in many dimensions here, and that's why I said, we're all more percentage of yogi than what we actually think about ourselves. Right? And then very quickly, Saucha, the benefits of Saucha and Tapaswadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani, which is like, people that always keep themselves Saucha, which is like, pure and the clean. What happens is we actually transcend awareness about the body. That is eventually when you keep, yourself hygiene, then we lose our identity with the body and we don't even care. Then, we transcend the body and the mind to become more easier to unite with the Brahman. That is one of the benefits. And then Santosha gives us the sukha, ultimate, being content. When we are content, that's when we get the permanent happiness. And then Tapaswadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani is one of the best ways on how we can do Bahiranga Sadhana, how we can approach the work, anything that we do. Give 100% effort, not over effort or not less effort, but give 110% actually. That's also known as the flow state. Give 110% of an effort, and then Swadhyaya, continuously balance in with where you are. Don't overheat. Don't go beyond 110% or 120%, and then surrender all the outcomes. Surrender all the outcomes to Ishvara. Then we get the best results, and we also be Saucha Santosha. So that's a quick overview of the yama niyamas. Asanas, we already talked about it yesterday. And then pranayama, we talked about yesterday. And then dharana is concentration. Dhyana is meditation. And then samadhi is the next form of the meditation, where you completely lose your identity and you become the object of the meditation or the pursuit of the meditation. And that could be divine or whatever the object that you're pursuing in the meditation thought. And that's samadhi. And then when we do all the 3 things together, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, that is what is known as samyama, trayam ekatva samyama. And we'll talk about meditation and the more inner practices. The first 5 limbs are known as Bahiranga Sadhana. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, the reversing the consumption. These are the things that we do outwardly. These are the actions that we do externally. But the last 3 limbs, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, are known as the inner practices, antaranga sadhana. Those you do for your own within, which is concentration, meditation, and samadhi. Those are inner practices, antaranga sadhana. But we are not quite there to just engage more in the antaranga sadhana. What Patanjali defined is, when we start with the bahiranga sadhana, your dukkham gets reduced, your impurities get reduced, and then you become more and more prepared to do 100% antaranga sadhana. Like, for example, if you want to do meditation, many of us cannot even sit comfortably for 15 minutes or 20 minutes or 30 minutes. So again, by doing the bahiranga sadhana, yama, niyama, and eating the right food and practicing yoga and pranayama, you prepare our vessel. We prepare our vessel well enough so that we can actually spend more time in the antaranga sadhana. So that's kind of a quick overview of the Ashtavangani and the universal verbs. Any questions, comments, and thoughts? Anyone? Do we all agree with Patanjali? Or do we have any disagreements with Patanjali? Okay, so silence is golden, right? Silence means we are in harmony with Patanjali. So with that, should we start the yoga practice for today? Praveen?
Yes.
Okay, so what we'll do is, how about we'll take a 1 minute or 2 minutes of break, and then we'll start the yoga practice for the sequence. Yeah?